Hey guys, can you hear me? Just gonna do a sound check real quick. Hello. Welcome guys. Okay, so sorry I started the live stream a little bit late. I was well, I guess I just lost track of time. You know, I am in a different time zone, but let's go ahead and get started. Gonna go ahead and basically do a market outlook. Gonna do a market outlook on the S&P 500 and then NASDAQ and then gold as well. And if anyone in the chat is you know, curious on a particular asset, you can leave it in the chat, and if I see your requests, then you know, I'll take a look. Okay, so it looks like the sound is working, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So right now I got the ES pulled up. This is the weekly chart, and you know, I honestly don't really have much to say. For my last market outlook, if you took a look at it, you'll know what I'm looking for, and it just looks like it's on its way there. So we pulled up into this weekly SIBI, didn't get above 50%. Now this is the micro contract. We could take a look at the minis as well. So we have the ES right here, and looking at this fair value gap from this high down to, and I'm including the volume balance. And if I go ahead and put in that middle line, you'll see it didn't reach 50% either. So it's going to be pretty weak and is coming back down. So looking at the micros, I'm looking at the sales. Of course, it's going to take the sell side here. Is so close. Then going lower, there is this one back in September 2024. I think we could come back down to take this one as well. How low do I think it get? Well, you know, going back, there are all these lows. There's also 50% of this lower wick. But I think for the safe bet is just to aim for this low down here at 19,026. Going into the daily chart, just get a better view. Let's see. See, it's all really choppy back here on the contract. If we go to like the NASDAQ continuous contract, you can see it's still a little further away from this low, but I think it can get there. Going back down into this inefficiency and then going lower, I think it could even come and try to take out the sell side below this low. Now it could create equal lows, but I think it can get down at least close to this one. But I'm going to go ahead and just stick with the micros for now, and I think I'll do that for NASDAQ as well. You know, really nothing much to say. Now, where are we going to start turning around? Well, we did create this high. I actually don't think the market is going to go back for these all-time highs until we take out this high that was created in this weekly SIBI. You can see we have like a couple of daily inefficiencies here. We'll have to trade above that for sure if we're going to go higher. We could, I guess, have a big retracement back into it, but don't really expect it. You can see I have an hourly fair value gap drawn out as well. Yeah, pretty big inefficiency. If we don't, you know, trade above this big 4-hour inefficiencies, I think we're definitely going to go lower. We could retrace back up into it. Now, if we do retrace back up into it and retain these relative equal lows, there could be a potential short setup in this area. So make sure you pay close attention to what's going on in this inefficiency. Okay, so let me go ahead and check the chat, see how everyone's doing. Okay. If you're in the chat, just say hello. And also start letting me know what assets you want me to look at. I can look at Forex or any particular stock if you want. I could even look at the Dow Jones if you like. Just let me know what you guys are interested in. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and move on. I'm going to continue on to the NASDAQ, and then we'll move on to gold. Or was I looking at the NASDAQ the whole time? Okay, maybe I was. Sorry guys, I think maybe I made a mistake there. Maybe I was looking at NASDAQ, but look, if you look at S&P and NASDAQ, they're both kind of the same, right? We went up into this weekly SIBI and then we're going down, and then we're looking for this low and we're looking for that low. And on ES, on the daily chart, you can see pretty much the same thing, coming back down, looking for this low, looking for this low too, because they're relatively equal. And like I said, in order for things to go awry, we have to go above this daily BISI that was created. And of course, we got to take out this high if we have any chance of reversing back near the highs. So NASDAQ and ES, pretty much the same analysis. So don't actually need to say too much more. I'm actually going to go ahead and move to gold. That's XAUUSD. Start on, let's take a look at the monthly chart, see where we're at. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, if you're in the chat, let me know. And I'm kind of having a hard time with my chat window. You know, I'm still a little new to this live streaming stuff, so I'm not even sure if I can see your guys' message. But if you are in the chat, just give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you guys are here. And of course, I'm also taking requests. So here we are. Let's go ahead and take a look at gold. It is pretty much at all-time highs on the monthly chart. Nothing more I can say. We do have this recent monthly BISI. Looks like we may create another monthly fair value gap, but we'll see how this month closes. I guess it's already done closing, right? Because I guess we do have one more day on Monday. I don't expect it to come down very far, so it does look like we will create another fair value gap. So this could still be bullish for quite a while. Jumping onto the weekly, can see that we are at all-time highs, and we have what was this? Was this something on the monthly I was looking at? Okay, maybe on the daily. We'll get rid of this. Yeah, there we go. That's the one on the daily. So we'll just reduce the visual here to not include it. Okay. But we do have a fair value gap on the weekly chart, and I'm going to draw it out right here. I also kind of like how this fair value gap is close to this order block on the weekly. So if we do have retracement, I would expect price to retrace back into here. And that looks like it's overlapping. So there's probably not another fair value gap here. So If we do have retracement, I expect price to come back down here. Of course, I have the monthly change and say deliver right there, but don't pay any mind to this. It's not going to be coming into play. This monthly probably won't be coming into play, at least until we take out this bullish weekly order block. And you'll see I have the weekly changes stay delivery right below it. So let's go ahead and go into the daily. Now I have sell side here, but of course the recent sell side is right there. We have a daily fair value gap that got traded into, and it's pretty balanced. If we do come back, I don't expect this to like hold as strong support anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this. I think if we do start going lower, it will take out this low. Coming back into that weekly BISI, I think that will be reasonable. So currently everything looks bullish. We may come into this daily BISI and start going even higher. How high can we go? That is the question. Let's go back into the weekly and do some projections here. So the only place I really see take out liquidity was this right here. When the price dropped down, it took out this sell side below this swing low. But then you can see that every low, swing low that we had did not take out another level of sell side. So this was the last one. So I'm going to go ahead and project it from this low back to this high. You can see we're already at -1 standard deviation, and we could go up higher. We have -1.5, but it's kind of a long way away. So what I'm going to do is go down to the daily chart and see if I can do another projection, see if there's going to be any overlapping. So if you look on the daily, this little drop right here did take out this swing low. So we could do a projection from this low to this high. It created the fair value gap. So you can see -1 is also kind of like that, the length of that fair value gap, and projecting it upward. -1 on the weekly. It's kind of funny that it fell between -2 and -2.5 here on the daily. But yeah, looking upwards, I guess we could go to this -4 on the daily. So let me go ahead and just adjust these. Just to clear it up, I'm just going to leave -4 on here. That's going to be like the upside target for gold. If we do start rallying, I would expect gold. We could go here to the -4 projection from this low to this high. So looking here, just adjust it. We could go up to this price of 3,130. That would be something I aim for, but like I said, you could expect some retracement going into next week, so price could come in. You want to keep your eye on this daily fair value gap. I think this daily fair value gap is going to be very important. We could even wick through it or something, but then I would want to see price rallying. And if I do see a rally, I would want to aim for this -4 standard deviation. Now, when will this actually start reversing? If we take out this low, there's a potential to reverse. If we take out this low and we come back into like a city and then we start going lower, that will give you the confirmation that we're going to go lower into this daily, or sorry, this weekly fair value gap. And you can even refine it. You can see on the daily is a pretty big fair value gap. So you can refine this daily fair value gap, or refine the weekly to this daily. I'm not going to adjust it, but I will just kind of highlight. Sorry, I didn't mean to do, I want to do a rectangle. So that you can use this daily BISI within a weekly BISI, and this could be a good target to aim for. In fact, you can even aim for 50% of this. So I'm just going to draw a line, but there's the middle line right there at 29.59. So that is something you can aim for if we start going down. Like if we get let me go ahead and draw this. If we start getting displacement lower past this sell side, but we don't quite reach it just yet, we pull back a little bit. Maybe we create like a breaker here back into this daily SIBI, use it as inversion, and then when we come back down, you can try to aim for 50% of this weekly BISI. So that's pretty much what I'm thinking for gold. Of course, this is plan B. Okay, the second plan. My primary bias is to the upside. It is bullish. looking for that -4 standard projection, -4 standard deviation projection on the daily chart. I don't really think I need to go down into a 4 hours, so let's take a look at the chat, and I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes to give me your requests. What else do you want me to take a look at? You know, I'm pretty much a futures guy, so I stick with S&P 500, NASDAQ. Sometimes I look at the Dow Jones, but not really. I kind of just have it here. Maybe, you know, if I want to see if there's going to be any S&Ts on highs or lows. And now I'll kind of take a look at the dollar index. You know what? I'm going to go over the dollar index because this is going to relate to gold. So let's just take a quick look on the weekly. We have these relative goals. Okay, so this was a monthly SIBI that we went back into, and you can see it's going down right here on the weekly. It was a pretty big drop. And you can kind of see visually that this is about 50% of the way down here to these lows. So you can look at this as a measuring gap. That was from my previous market outlook. If you measure, if you drop a gradient from this high down to, we'll just look at this closest low right here. And you can see that the fair value gap pretty much is at 50%. So this is looking like a measuring gap to me. I think we could have another leg down. We can go for this low, maybe even come down here to the monthly sell side. And then below it, we do also have a monthly fair value gap that if we're going to come down, I would expect price to take out the sell side below these lows and go to rebalance this monthly fair value gap some. See on the monthly here. And I have it down here because there is also a volume balance that I'm including. So I'm including this whole entire range, but you can just aim for the high of that fair value gap. I'm not even sure if I need to go down to the daily. This is pretty clear cut. We could retrace a little bit more on the daily. You can see we have a breaker on the weekly, high, low, higher, high. And then here we have a breaker, and I'll kind of just draw it out. It's going to be this down candle. So from the high to the low, stretch it forward. I think we could come retrace back to the lower part, back into this breaker, and then start dropping lower. If you look at the breaker, we have a fair value gap right here on the daily, and these three up candles, that is a daily order block. A lot of confluences in this area, so I would think price could retrace back up here. Doesn't have to. If it's really weak, it doesn't have to retrace all the way back here. It could, I mean, it already went into 50% of this fair value gap. It could just start dropping right away starting next week. But if we do expect retracement, I think here would be a nice place to see price, after rebalance this inefficiency, to start dropping from here. And if we take out this high, well, then that idea is invalid. We are going to be heading higher for dollar. And if we're heading higher for dollar, that means gold is going to go down, right? But since we're still looking like dollar is bearish, gold, I think we can still think it's going to go up. Yes, trading NQ futures. I already went over NASDAQ and ES, but I can quickly go over it for you real quick. I mean, there's really not too much to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the micros, if you don't mind. If we look at ES on the daily, you can see that we went into that weekly SIBI, came back down, did not respect this daily fair value gap, and it's pretty obvious we're going to go for the sell side on these lows. So that's what I'm looking at going into this week. Now we can get a little bit more granular on the 4 hour. You can see that this fair value gap, I don't really expect it to get traded back into. What I'm looking at on the 4 hour is this really large SIBI here. If we do have any retracement, this will be where I'm looking for a short setup. But I don't really want to see price trade above this 4 hour fair value gap. If you do start seeing that, we may be reversing, but I'm not really convinced we're going to be full-time bullish to the all-time highs until we start going above, well, this daily SIBI, and if we take out this high, which I don't think is going to happen before we take out the sell side here. So that's why I'm kind of looking for NQ futures. And that's pretty much the same story for NASDAQ, because ES and NASDAQ are kind of the same. On the weekly, you can see we went to the weekly SIBI, started going down. I'm going to take this sell side out for sure. And it's a question of whether we're going to take this out or not. I think there's a good chance we can get there. So these are the levels I'm looking at. This sell side right here, taking out the sell side. Here's the daily BISI. There is a chance we could come up to the daily BISI and use it as inversion. But here, looking at the 4 hour, getting a little granular. I do have a 1 hour CP drawn out, but the 4 hour you can see is really large. I don't think this is going to get taken out until we reach some sell side. So this for sure. And then after we take this out, we could have a little bit of a retracement and then go for the second sell side. That's kind of what I'm thinking. If we start trading above this 4 hour fair value gap, we'll look for a little bounce, maybe take out this high. And then after taking out this high, we could drop some more. But if it takes out this high back in the weekly SIBI, that's going to lead me to think that we could be going back up some more. And there is a weekly SIBI up higher. That will be my next target if we take out this high, which I don't think is going to happen until we take out the sell side here. And we can even aim for this sell side. And then below that, we have this weekly wick. You want to keep all these levels in mind going into this week. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. I'll give you a couple more minutes to put in your requests. I went over ES, went over NASDAQ, I went over gold and the dollar index. So again, sorry guys, I was a little late. I did not really keep track of the time. I'll do a better job next week. And of course, any non-trading questions, you're welcome to ask that as well. I don't know why my camera's a little blurry. So I don't know if you guys watch Kimmel Trading. I've been watching his boot camp. He's got some really good stuff, but I'm a little behind. I just saw his psychology video, and gotta say that is probably one of his best ones yet. As he went over this whole thing about how emotion is equal to your reality minus expectations. He framed it in trading, but that works for like everything in life. Your happiness level, or your emotion level, whatever you want to call it, is pretty much like when expectations don't get met, you feel unhappy, you're disappointed, you have all this negative energy, right? So it's all about tempering your expectations, because you can't change reality, but you can change your expectations. So definitely you want to make your expectations pretty much like think that you're always going to take a loss, right? I have my stop loss. Have your expectations at that stop loss, because if you do get stopped out, you're not disappointed. Your expectations got met. But if you actually have a winning trade, well, then that is better than what's expected, right? So that's kind of one way you can help control your emotions, because if you don't have emotional control, that's when revenge trading comes into place, over trading. Yeah, I've been there. I have been there, guys. NQ futures. I'm talking about Kimmel Trading. Kimmel Trades. He's another trader that's kind of in the ICT realm. He's been on podcasts with Words of Wisdom. So maybe I can put in chat. I'm looking at Kimmel Trading. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys. And we'll try to make the stream a little bit longer next time around. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for joining me. Hope to see you guys next time. And until then, safe trading.